Hello, everyone. I just forgot to hook my mic up, so I'm just going to try hooking this up, and then I'll come right back on. Just be patient. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hello to everyone. Can just let me know if you can hear me. And then we'll start the show about nothing. So Lisa says hi. Hi to everyone. Hello, Lisa.
I'm trying to confirm your sound.
Ruby says, hey guys. Hello, Ruby. And who else? Steen1.
Yep, you're good.
Steen1 says, can I be George? No, I want to be George. My middle name is George. I should be at least be able to be George too. How about we share George? Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I'm more of a George in that show. That's why I got that name, I guess. It's funny. We were on holidays, and it was a really strange. It was a different holiday. I've never been on a holiday like this in my life, so it was different. But we met a guy named George. The weirdest thing, right at the end. We're almost on our way home. We had to go look at this property that we were trying to purchase it. But you think you could get we tried to purchase 2 properties. We still haven't purchased a property. You can't get lawyers and you can't get notaries in the province of British Columbia right now. We were in Penticton. The good wife reached out to all the notaries, couldn't get appointments for like a month. You can get appointments, but they're all booked up. They're all busy selling properties. So there's a mad rush into the country. People are buying up property right now from East India. A lot of people buying up properties, running all the businesses. It's a different province. All the white people are homeless. I'm not laughing because it's not a laughing matter, but it blows me away. This is just a huge thing. Have you guys seen any of this kind of stuff going on down in your neck of the woods? Hospitals are all closing. We turn the news on, and the hotel and the hospitals are all. This hospital's closed, and this hospital's closed. And then we're looking at the map to see where we're going to move, to see if that hospital's closed. You know, it's nice to have a hospital near where you're going to move. But they're not all closing, but there's a lot of closing. A nursing problem. They don't have enough nurses. So the doctors are you can't run a hospital, right? You have to have everyone, all the right people. So it's different. So this guy, George, we meet this guy, George. We're just sitting outside the hotel having a coffee. And there's a guy across from us. The sun's just beaming on him. He's just this little guy, kind of puffed out looking. Like a George, just like the George. All of us Georges kind of look the same. That's what I kind of figure. Because this George kind of could look like me, you know, in 50 years. When I get old, I'm not old. I realized that I'm a young George on this trip. I'm not that old. I've met people that are 10 years younger than me. They look old. People are weathered. People are really weathered. Anyways, George comes over and he has a little Mustang, and we're admiring his little Mustang. You know, you don't see a lot of power car Mustangs around. All we've seen is these little tiny electric cars all over. And then I did a lot of videos. So I'm going to work on getting them online on our Retired Our Way channel. I got to start promoting that. Because the stuff I did, it's not JW kind of stuff. But it was fun. I was just reviewing rest stops. I was just videotaping all these rest stops. And you know what? Pretty well every one of those rest stops, there's a tourist scene, a river, a waterfalls, a hike. And we took our time. That's all we did. We didn't spend money going anywhere. We just toured these rest stops, rest stop to rest stop. And we found a rest stop in Penticton. And it looked like this. It looked like that. If you could imagine sitting by that beach here, let me see if I can get this kind of looking the way it was for us. Here, I can throw this out my window. I have the technology. There it is. Okay, there, you see out the back window, the palm trees? See, that's real. Let's go outside just for a moment. Okay, well, I feel at home here in the sea can because I feel like I'm back home. I'm back in my studio in the sea can. We kind of made the sea can our home over the past few months. And it's funny, we stayed in all these motels. That's why it was a strange thing. This is a very strange thing. We sold our home before we bought another home, kind of a thing. And usually people go out and find a new place and then sell their old place. And then there's like a closing date, and then everyone scrambles to kind of get in and take possession. That's kind of usually how it goes. But we decided to do something that was unusual because we wanted to travel a bit. We wanted to do what we're going to be doing here in a few days. Now, who's online with us? I'm going to see here. This is a show about nothing. We're not supposed to talk about anything at all. Nothing. So there's nothing important, but it's important that we talk. I'm going to take the banner off because it's bugging me. Oh, that's better. We have San Diego Pimo on. So anybody wants to come online, you've seen the StreamYard link. Just join us, and we'll talk about nothing. And I'm just going to keep talking about nothing, as long as you guys want to listen. But anyways, we were we met this George guy at the hotel. He showed us his Mustang. He's really, really happy. And then the wife goes to check out, and George says to me, he says, "You think your wife would be okay if I got her cell number and I could keep in touch, send some pictures and stuff?" "I'll send you pictures," he says, "of my brother's resort where I'm going." And sure enough, we get down the road a bit, and I guess he checks out, gets down the road. The next day or two, he starts sending some pictures. And I didn't really know because I got sick. I was sitting by the beach, like that beach there. There wasn't palm trees, but it was. I actually showed you guys the pictures. And where is it here? I even have that beach. I have this particular beach in a picture. And it was on I made it into an advertising for coming to the protest that thing. But I didn't realize that I got sun. I took, I think, sun where you take in too much sun. I did that once when I was maybe 20. I was in my 20s, 21, and it was bad. I had to lay in a tub, soak in vinegar. They used apple cider vinegar. But anyways, I was kind of just spent too much time in the sun, just like here. Hey guys, welcome to the sunny Okanagan. We're really busy moving now, but we hope to see you the end of August, the 24th and the 25th in Toronto for a protest or a meetup. We'll see you there. Bye for now. So everything looks good. You can make anything look good on TV. But the very next day, I had what they call sun sickness. It's where you take too much vitamin D in. I didn't know that was a thing, that you can take too much of it. Like, why don't they just call it, hey man, you got sunburned. Hey, you almost got sunstroked. Good thing you didn't get sun. Did you use cream? No. Who uses cream? I'm all white. I don't need cream. You're going to get sunburned. Well, no, they call it sun sickness now. It's when you take in too much vitamin D. Doesn't that sound better? Hey man, you're going to take too much vitamin D in. You're not going to feel good. Like, doesn't that sounds a lot better, right? That's kind of how they talk now, right? That's kind of the new thing. I learned that through this, that I got sun sickness. Too much vitamin D. Well, that can't be a bad thing, can it? Too much vitamin D? Oh yeah, we're only designed to take, the human body is only designed to take about 15 minutes a day. And usually you're getting that through your head and your arms and stuff. You're not opening up the solar shields. It's not like there's clouds up there. So, yeah, I'm learning that things are a little bit different. It's not like the olden days.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know about nothing.
Oh, are you live?
I think so.
Oh.
Said there's 10 people on.
I know you're live.
There's the good wife. So she looked after me. And I thought it'd like go away in one day, and it didn't. It was like you're high for the first day, makes you high, like a hangover high. And then the next day, like I wasn't sick or anything, but I was shivering, and then hot, cold, like flu symptoms all over again. So I found out that this became my friend, Gatorade, and we had to hydrate. And I wasn't even drinking water. Live in Alberta, it just snows here. Anyways, I did go to warm climates before. I went to Mexico as a Jehovah's Witness. Did I go on the beach? Yeah, sometimes. We went with the brothers. We usually wore like shirts and ties. In them days, I think we'd still wear ties. I wasn't sure in Mexico if we had to, but we had to wear shirts for sure and dress with dress pants. We were a walk. I was sweating all the time, but never got sun sickness because we didn't have time to go on the beach too much. Then other times I went to help the brothers in Antigua, and there was like the paradise thing there going on, but I might have got a half a day on the beach with the kids. Spent the rest of the time at the Bethel helping the brothers with different things. And you're not getting sun sickness in there. I was stuck in an electrical room. So anyways, it was all a good experience. It's not all that bad, but anyway, sun sickness, I didn't realize if you're just going to relax and sit in the sun, and I even had bought a little chair that you sit down and sit back in the sand. And I was just taking it all in, and I started reading this book. I bought this book, so thought I'd start reading a book because I got if you've never really sat still your whole life, it's kind of a learning thing to learn to sit still. So I found that I could sit still if I read some of that book, and it was quite interesting. And the more I read of the book, the more I kind of scared me a bit because I was reading about myself. We just went to a bookstore and we're looking for books to read. I haven't really read a book for a long time. I write books, but I have read lots of books. I'm not going to say I don't read books, but I haven't read a book in a long time. I think last time I started reading books, I was reading books, lots of books. When I left the JW org in 2012, I read a whole pile of books. I read all the books about The Secret. That lady out of Australia that wrote The Secret. Forget her name, but she wrote The Secret. Really, all that book was about is you reap what you sow. So if you think about things, you can manifest. And there's truth and faults to all these things. It's just people's opinions, right? I read some fictional books. I read a fictional book called Celestine Prophecies. It was the first book. The study up in the Arctic gave it to me, and he said, "Vern, read this book." And I didn't read it for probably a couple of years. I didn't read it until I quit the organization, actually, because I thought, well, why am I going to read about Celestine prophecies if I already got the real prophecies? That's how a JW kind of thinks, right? They don't want to. JWs are trained to to not poison their thinking, which is really wrong programming. We're programmed that way, and we carry the program still. We carry a lot of these things with us, right? So here we are on holidays, and I'm programmed, not to read really a lot of books. Wrote my own books. That was kind of okay with me. But what did I read? Well, when I left the org, I read The Secret. I read the Celestine Prophecies when I left, and I liked it so much I bought the guy's next book, Shambhala. I forget the guy's name, Reed or something. But he was a good writer, fictional books, and I really enjoyed them. And then I looked for other books like that. And I think I met my good wife. She was into Nora Roberts, and so I read a whole bunch of those books too, just for something to read. We lived away out on a farm at the time we met. It was a way out, like 2 hours away from any major center. And if you had to go get groceries, it was a 45-minute drive to go buy a thing of milk or bread or anything. So it was a way out in the bush, the first farm. We really got to know each other there. But again, I was secluded. I came out of the religion, went country dancing, met my good wife. She thought I was normal. I thought I was normal too, right? Do you guys think you're normal? I'm realizing that 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 we have some stuff in us perhaps that's not normal as ExJWs. And if I have it, a lot of you guys must have it too. So come on the line, chat with me. Tell me what you find that is abnormal but should be normal. Like, for instance, I should be okay with going and reading anybody's books, right? But JW.org has put some programming in all of our heads not to read other books, only their books. That's some really wicked programming. So I buy this book. There's a book I had a choice in buying, and it says "Retrain Your Anxious Brain: Practical and Effective Tools to Conquer Anxiety." And Do you have anxiety? Does anybody out there have anxiety? Everyone's afraid to talk. Everyone says hi. Cindy says Nora Roberts, great author. Yeah, I thought she had some great books. She's a good author. She knows how to take you places, and she's kind of she's into. I'm not going to say witchery or anything like that, but it's kind of like magical, kind of a magical stuff. Irish, right? Irish stories, a lot of them, love stories in them. So it's a good thing, I think, for us to read books, other books besides all those books we were reading. Um, yeah, how can you be sane in an insane world? Jocelyn says, I'm definitely not normal. Jocelyn. Um, we all thought we were normal. LOL. Yeah, I get that. We all thought we were normal. Up here in Canada, we might say, well, we all thought we were normal. But I get it. In New Zealand, we all thought we were normal. We get that. We know how to talk back and forth here. Canadians, New Zealand, because we're Commonwealth, right? We have something in common because of, well, are we wealthy? I think wealth is really inside. Like here we are in a sea can, and quite honestly, we had the money to do whatever we wanted. We sold our farm, and we could do anything we wanted with it. But the problem is, with the same money, we got to buy a place to live. We got to still survive. I don't have any job. I'm like a lot of those white homeless people could be, that are walking around because they lost their businesses. A lot of these, see, through COVID, one lady we went to a museum in one of the little towns, and we just sat there, and there was no one. It was like a ghost town. And she sat there and gave us a whole story. She said, a lot of these people that are homeless are just lost their businesses. They're people like you and I, and they didn't know what to do. They got pushed out. They couldn't pay taxes. You see, COVID came, and a lot of the businesses got shut down because, well, you guys know what happened. It happened all over the world. We weren't allowed to see, we were all afraid, living in our homes in fear, thinking that the whole world was going to melt because of COVID. That's what they had us believing. Anyways, now it's all kind of coming out, and we're realizing that we've been hooped a bit. A lot of people quit jobs. Nurses quit being nurses, a lot of nurses, because of the COVID bullshit. That's why the nurses quit. And they said, enough is enough. This is all bullshit. A lot of them. My niece, a nurse, good nurse, quit. She says, none of my kids are getting a shot. And that's what they did. I thought, wow, I couldn't go to work because you had to have all these shots to cross any borders. So they shut us all down, all the small businesses. And what happened? Well, my customers phoned me, and I said, you have to go to a national company that has COVID license with the government to cross borders. And that's what they had to do. They had to go with big companies that work across borders. All the small, and we're talking provincial borders. You guys had U.S. borders, same thing. COVID shut us down. Small businesses were, entrepreneur, mom and pop companies. So the mom and pop companies all kind of shut down, and they had the resources. So they used whatever they had. They emptied out their piggy banks just to keep the business open, hoping that pretty soon COVID would go away and their businesses would come back. And it didn't happen, day after day, week after week, month after month, and now year after year. They couldn't weather the storm. But all those businesses that were allowed to stay open, like the Walmarts, the Costco's, I always say Costco. That's the wrong way to say it, but Costco, they all got to stay open. In fact, they doubled their profits because all the small mom and pops businesses that were trying to be somewhat competitive, they weren't around. And that's what happened. Yeah, I agree. we've been gaslighted so much that what's real anymore? We get into this religion. I was in it for 30 years. I know a lot of you guys were raised in it. I'm so glad I wasn't raised in it. But it's bad. So we're traveling. I traveled BC lots of times. Beautiful British Columbia. It's the most beautiful place in the world, but it is beautiful. There's no doubt it's beautiful. And I'm playing with my fading. It's about as good as I can get it. It's a green screen fader. Other than that, all I can give you to look at here for a background is that. I can give you that to look at. It's just that you might want to look at the green screen, or I could give you that, or it's backwards. There, now it's that way. It's not backwards. So you can do a lot with these programs. I've been fiddling with these programs for a while. I didn't even put the watchtower back there. Or just there's where we use the phone. So we play with I just stick a piece of tin there and be done with it. We're in a sea can. Come on, get real. So we play with these green screens. It's a little bit of fun. You can be in a sea can and make it look like you're in paradise on a green screen. But really, what I was saying about the holiday, we traveled around and stayed in motels, and some motels were probably the cheapest motel we could stay in was like $109, and that was kind of as we were leaving. But most hotels were around $150. And then we got to the Penticton area where you see, and we've seen that we were doing these rest stop reviews. So we landed this one rest stop, and it was just like a little hidden cove where the waves were coming in, and you see people going by with surfboarding and stuff like that. And we went back every day for a week. We just stayed there for a week. It was like going to Mexico, or if you travel to these paradise kind of areas, and it was nice. So we spent some time there, and we tried to buy a place just before there, about three hours, a couple hours away. It fell through. We couldn't get a notary or a lawyer or anything. So then we kept moving on. Thought we'd move on. And then we tried to buy this other off-grid place, and I realized that the guy we were dealing with had some kind of issues that I have. He has panic disorders and stuff like that. He was panicking. And then when he was panicking, I was panicking, because it seemed like he was trying to pull the wool over our eyes. And he thought that we were trying to just get out of the deal because he really needed the deal to happen. And we thought that maybe he's trying to scam us. No, I'm not going to say we. I thought. My good wife was out here in the middle, kind of watching all of this. Well, this is when I realized that we have different faces, and I was I just sensed that this guy was, and I guess when I go into a fight or flight mode, and that's what it is, fight or flight mode. We all do it as human beings. We all have this mechanism, and I know we all do it because I'm reading about it now. We all have a mechanism in us. We start sweating, our eyeballs get bigger. We change. And I remember an elder telling me once, he says, Vern, he says, you can lasso the whole congregation with your smile, but your frown, it'll empty the hall. I didn't really know what he meant, because we never look at ourselves. Like, how often have you seen yourself when you go into fight or flight mode? that's what it is. It's fight or flight mode. Now I'm realizing this is a thing I got to work on. I have been doing this my whole life. And so my wife and I are talking, and I asked her just the other night, I said, go through the steps. Tell me exactly what I look like to people on the outside. Because I'll tell you, when I went into this mode, like I looked at I was like, don't waste my time. I wasn't going to beat anybody up, but I guess I get intense. And, I had my hat on. I thought the hat calms me a bit, but, like I can look really stern if, the hat calms me a bit. But anyways, this guy, I said, this guy wants out of the contract. And I guess I said a few other things. But you see, the problem is we want to buy the place, but you can't get a notary or a lawyer. You can't get an appointment. My good wife was good enough. She got an appointment lined up while we're in Toronto. So we can do that. And they can do it you can do remote signing and all this good stuff because of COVID. I guess that's one of the things we can thank COVID for. But now they've taken it all away. So why was it good during COVID, and why did they all of a sudden take it all away? But there are a few firms that still can do it, remote signing to do transactions. And so that my good wife has that firm. We don't have to drive anywhere. We can just be at a computer and we can do this remote signing. Hello, Tad. So we're going to be in the CCAN here now for a bit. And it's funny, we did all this traveling. We even stayed one night, and we stayed at a different hotel almost every night. So how we did it is, because if you were to book in advance, they were nailing you like big bucks, like 300. You wouldn't get a room under 350, 330. So what we would do is we would book last minute, keep going last minute, and you'd get a couple $100 a night, 150, 200, 220. You always save $100. So we're always cheap, and it's exciting. You stay at a different hotel, you see which ones you like, which ones you don't like. And we even stayed at a 4 Point Seasons one night. And I'll tell you what, the bed in the CCAN's better. When I got home last night, and I call this CCAN home for now. In fact, it has to be our pivotal point, and we sold the farm. Now we have to rent a spot to be here off the people we sold the farm to. So now we're kind of renters off them. It's not a bad deal here. We got electricity, we got everything we need, internet, Wi-Fi. We don't pay for any of that. And they love our dog and our cat, so they're looking after them for us. They love them. They said, in fact, they would like to keep them. But who wants to part with their pets, right? Pets become your family. And of course we wouldn't. And we need the dog, and I don't know about the cat, but the cat's good company. There's always mice. But we need the dog where we're going. She's kind of a mountain dog, our dog. And where we're going to be living in the mountains, on a mountain. Not far up, not as far up like what we were first going to do, but this is just a little step up. They carve these little platforms off logging roads. They log these mountains, and then this mountain was logged in the 60s, 1967. And now not everything was logged on this piece of land. There's some old forest apparently up above. So we bought a third of this 7 acres, and we get to take on one of the shelves here and make a place to live, make our own power. There is a well that we can pump water down from. So it has its own water, and that's important. A lot of the water we've seen down throughout BC, they had water warnings, water advisories because of flooding. And as soon as they get into flooding, it disturbs all of, because they draw a lot of their water out of the river for drinking water for the small communities. But now when you have a well, you don't have any of those problems. Your water's safe. So it's a big advantage if you have a well. So that's kind of where we are. We don't have, there's no buildings on this place that we have to move to. So now we're going to go back. We're going to go to Toronto here on Thursday. So today is Saturday. We're going to be in Toronto on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We come back, and then we're going to go back and start. Hopefully by then we will have secured the place. We'll have the lawyer's appointment. That all takes time, and we've secured the place. We have secured it with a deposit, but then you don't really own. You can't build on a property with a deposit. So we're hoping that'll happen by September 15th. That'll give us about a month to build a little cabin. And we think it'll be great because there's even internet at the gate. TELUS, the local internet company, they actually dug in a high-speed internet just down below at the gate. And so we're kind of interested to see how they would hook us up the mountain, high speed. So it'd be the best internet you can get. There's no data restrictions. You can upload to YouTube as fast as you can download from YouTube. So we've been on wireless our whole lives, wireless providers. And the problem with wireless providers is you can download a lot of stuff. You can download movies, Netflix, bring lots of information down. But when you want to send information up to YouTube as a creator, such YouTube people like ourselves, it's slow because it's for 20 megabytes down, I can only send 1 megabyte up. Imagine how slow that is.
Slow.
So now once we're on with fiber, they call it, you're on with the fiber, you're up and down as huge amounts of data. You send your movie up to YouTube, it's gone quick. None of this waiting around for 2 or 3 hours to get a movie online. Because it does take a while. I give all the creators out there a lot of credit for all the hard work that they do. Now, I wanted to talk to Tad while he's on, if Tad's still on. And we have a show that we want to start doing. So maybe we should talk about, maybe if Tad wants to talk about it, come on today. And how we're going to do it. Should we do it on a live? Should we do a pre-recording and then come on with it? There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. It's whatever Tad's comfortable with. But Tad has a lot to say. And we want to get him on here as soon as he's ready. So as far as we're concerned, we're going to be in the CCAN here for a few days. We're available. I'm done holidays. So we're set up here. We could do a show and we could learn all about what's happening in Japan, what happened in Tad's life. So we'll be looking at some pictures that he sent up. And so, yeah, Tad, if you want to let us know, we can get that going anytime you're ready. Anybody else out there that has a lot to say or something to say, that's what our channel is about, is about getting you guys on and giving everyone a platform to talk. Some of the best things we can do as ExJWs is talk therapy. Talk therapy is good. They use it in all of the forms of therapies, like for helping people. Now, I'm not any kind of a professional, but we get on these lines, and the thing that's different about our ExJW channels, and a lot of the creators, they have the lives, anybody can come on and talk. And what's good about them is you're dealing with people that really know, that have been there and done it, right? So there's no guessing. We all have been there and done it. Now, the disadvantage is that unless we're professional counselors, we may not know how to help each other the right way as well. And I'm learning that by reading this book again. I've been reading this book, Retrain Your Anxious Brain. And I find that's what I have a lot of times, is an anxious brain. And that's why I go into this fight or flight mode. And that's why I think I need a little bit more help to figure out what's triggering me, what's causing the triggers. I think I know what's causing the triggers, but sometimes when we think we know, it's not actually what's causing the triggers. And if we can figure out what's causing our triggers, then we can stop ourselves or understand and see ourselves before we get too carried away with this fight or flight mode. And I was fortunately able enough to do that. Now I got into this mode. I was ready to flight or fight, and this guy actually ran to his bedroom, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my wife. We were in there to make a deal on this place, right? The first time I met him on the mountain, it's broken French. He's got broken French English. And so I'm trying to understand him, and he's very passionate, and he's telling me all about this Natasha, this other shareholder, all about him, and all about this, and all about his biking, and all about this, and all about that, and all. And I said, "Where in the hell are we going to live? Like, where the hell are we going to live?" And I walked away, and I said, "There's no place here to live. You bring us all the way up this frickin' mountain to tell us all your fantasies? Come on, guy." And so I walk down the mountain. My wife is standing there with him, realizing that he's just passionate. I just think he's just a flake. But she realizes that he's passionate and that I'm not seeing. I should really look at this, and I'm like that myself at times. Well, not quite like it, but kind of like it. Passionate, maybe in a different way. So we all have passion, or some of us. And sometimes our passion can kind of get us into trouble. But Tad's on his bike right now, so we'll catch you. You catch you next time, Tad. But send us a email or something, or Discord's good if you know you're on Discord. If you can talk to me there, I've been looking at Discord lots as a communication tool. So anybody wants to talk to me, Discord's good. My good wife has showed me how to use it, like a kind of like private. You can do all your private messaging there. We can voice met. We can get on and just like lives, do stuff. It's really good. So yeah, if you get a hold of me there, we can set up some appointments. Anybody who wants to get a show going or have something to say. So Tad's ended up, he's got like eight episodes ready to roll, and we'll get that rolling out. But yeah, anyways, it's amazing. So anyways, I'm up on this mountain, and I walk down, and the good wife's up there trying to get a lay of the land. And I guess I'm not quite comprehending this whole move. Like, I'm an Albertan, flatlander, and here I'm going to move and carve out. Like, the first property was on a top of a mountain, so it was all flat. It was a little valley, and it was flat. So this is not flat. It's this really steep driveway up this mountain, and then a zigzag up this way, and then you're on a logging road. Big trees all over the place. No one sees you. You're just up there you're on a mountain. I'm on a boat. I'm on a mountain. I'm on a mountain. That's what I felt like. So anyways, this guy, I'm shaking my head, and we walk away, I guess. We talk. There's nothing else available. You can't buy anything. So we decide to take a stab at this. We figure, okay, well, we can do something with this. And then we go to meet this guy, and he's all over the place. And sure enough, he did want to change the deal. He wanted completely out or something else. But anyways, he ran into his room and hid. This is the second meeting after we gave him a down payment. So we're already into this deal. And I'm going to live on a mountain, and this guy's going to be up there. It's going to be interesting. But anyways, he says, he ran into his bedroom and hid, and he says, "I can't handle this. I can't handle this. It's just too much energy." Frick, this is life, man. You're trying to sell your property. So I'm ready to walk out again and shaking my head. But the good wife sees what's going on and says, "Both of you guys," she treats us like little kids. "Both of you guys, come on out here." So I apologized to him, and I said, "I'm sorry. I got this, what is it called? Anxious disorder. I get anxious and I go into this fight or flight mode, and I look scary. I'm not necessarily that scary." So he was afraid. "Hey, Lisa, how are you doing?"
Hi, good, thank you. Don't worry about this. I did this to myself.
Uh-oh.
I was opening
Yeah,
the car
well,
door and
we won't.
I was opening the car door and I went to say something to my daughter and I put my head into the car door and it
Oh boy.
bruised almost immediately. But yes, how are you?
I was just explaining to everyone, kind of where we're at. It's kind of a really weird situation to be in. I've never been
Yes,
in,
it would
like,
be.
kind of in between where, we have winter. Our winters can get cold here, 30, 40 below even, right in Canada, or
Oh,
Alberta, this part of Canada where we're at right now in the Sea-Can. We can't live like
yeah.
this too much longer.
No, because it'll get
This is
too
just
cold.
temporary. Yeah, it'll get cold. We're even running a heater at night. We ran the heater last night on full, and we got up this
Yeah.
morning. It popped the breaker, right? Because it's on full. The breaker, the wires heat up
Yeah.
all the way back to the breaker. So we can turn it down to halfway mode. So it's only going to draw 750 watts, and then it shouldn't heat up the breaker. Because on that breaker, there's a fridge and a freezer, and you got to be careful how you load breakers down. But anyways,
Oh, you do.
it's been interesting. We're working off a 15 amp breaker.
Oh,
So
that's good.
if you're making toast, you don't run the microwave because it's just one breaker.
That's like at our place.
Yeah.
If you turn the jug on, you can't make toast at the same time because it flips the switch.
Exactly. Say the story. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
go ahead, Lisa. Tell me what's happening.
okay. Well, on the 4th of August, I got a text message sent from my brother, who's an elder, and he started
Uh-huh.
off by saying, "Hi, Lisa. How are you and the girls going? I found this that might be of help. Love, Paul." And it was a link to the website, all about top health officials warn of social media's effect on young people and what does the Bible say. So I text him back and I'll read what I text him. I said, "Hi, Paul. We're all doing okay. I would like you to know that I still believe in the Bible teachings and believe in Jehovah, but I can't accept the organisation's decision to fight the courts about reporting on the pedophiles that have been in the congregations around the world. If you want me to watch this, then you should look up the court cases all over the world. I know in my heart that Jehovah hates that happening to little innocent children, and I'm sorry, but I won't ever go back to a Kingdom Hall again. I'm not apostate. I don't want another belief, so not looking at other religions." But I
Good for
put it
you.
in words that he would understand. And I said, "Please open your eyes and see what is going around the world and how a predator can be removed from the congregation, yet if they repent, they are reinstated and can offend again." And then I said, "Mum used to say at least we weren't as bad as the Catholic Church. Now we're finding out how much like the Catholic Church we are." I said, "I will leave my heart to be judged by Jesus and continue being a lovely person and help people as I've always done. But if I don't make it through to the new system, that's on my head. Love, Lisa." So he sent back a PDF, and it's all on the new and improved rules for child abuse reporting. And he said with it, "Hi, Lisa, thanks for opening up to me. I appreciate this and agree with you. It is very, very sad that this happens in the congregations. It's part of this old system, and we can only do our best to protect our dear children and support them. Have a read of the document I just sent. It may help clear up a few questions. And please be assured I have my eyes open and I'm not ignoring this issue in any way. Love, Paul."
Wow.
So I waited. Yep. So I waited till the 9th of August to reply back to him. And I said, "Dear Paul, I have read and reread the document you sent me, and I'm glad to see that things have changed a little bit. But in saying that, there are a few things that still concern me. In point 5, it says, even if the elders have no legal duty to report an accusation of the authorities, the branch office of Jehovah's Witnesses will instruct the elders to report the matter if a minor is still in danger of abuse or there is some other valid reason. My point is this: it should always be reported to the authorities, because
Mhm.
if they are just removed and put out into Satan's system and not reported, how is that showing your fellow man love? Showing your fellow man love, as it says in Leviticus 19:18 and Luke 10:27. So I did my research and found those two scriptures, and they said, so just because a predator is not around, J-dubs, they are now part of the wider community, and they can prey on more innocent children. And point 11, it says, if it is determined that the one guilty of child sexual abuse is repentant and will remain in the congregation. My point is this: they will always beg forgiveness and be repentant and will offend again. No one wants to be near a predator, and how do you think the victims would feel turning up to the meeting and there they are? And then to continue on reading, yes, they'll lose all their privileges and can't be around kids, but this part, in addition, elders may inform parents of minors within the congregation of the need to monitor the children's interaction with the individual. As a parent, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them, and I would want to know so I could steer clear of them. They should be handed over to the authorities and to be judged by the system of things, to be put away from society, away from all children, being registered as a sexual predator, so everyone is protected and can
Yeah.
avoid being around them. Yes, we can leave everything in Jehovah's hands to fix it all, but no one knows when the end will come, so predators need to be stopped from harming innocent children everywhere, and not just in JDOB.org. Love, Lisa. And all he said was, I agree. And he sent me the day's text and said, I think the day's text is appropriate. And the day's text was all about throwing it all on Jehovah.
Yeah.
Jehovah will deal with it, leave it in his hands. And I
Yeah.
just thought, after you've just agreed with me, Paul, you're still not getting it. You can't leave it in Jehovah's hands or in God's hands, because it's not coming, and these guys are just going to keep doing what they're doing. They'll beg forgiveness and all the rest of it. So I told him that, and I thought, I haven't replied back. I'm going to think for a while of how to just tell him that he's just basically agreed with keeping the predators around. So
See,
I'm having a
I think when they say throw it in Jehovah's hands, when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, it was really throw it in Jehovah's hands means throw it in the Watchtower's hands. So you're leaving it with the elders, you're leaving it with Bethel. Okay, it's sent to Bethel, just leave it in Jehovah's hands. You see, Jehovah equals Watchtower, and that's wrong.
Exactly.
Jehovah has
Exactly.
nothing to do with the damn Watchtower.
No.
But you see, we
Well,
were all
that's like,
brainwashed, we're all spellbound, and we all believed that Jehovah was Watchtower. But Jehovah has nothing to do with Watchtower.
No. So
Jehovah
I was
does not
explaining to
condone
Paul.
crimes.
No. Well, it's like with this PDF, I'll have to send it to you. I don't know if you've got it, of the new and approved rules that they have.
Yeah, I do. It's in the new elders book.
You do? Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I was surprised that Paul sent it to
I know
me.
what they've done. But you're right,
Yeah,
Lisa.
and I
Okay, now here's what you can tell him. In the elders book, it says if the local authorities want it reported, then report it. But if the local authorities, if there's no where you don't have to report it, then give it to the Bethel. So you know what you tell that brother? We thought Jehovah's organization was unified, but this shows it's gone apostate. It's an apostate organization because it does one thing here and it does one thing here, because it can get away with it and it doesn't want to pay out. And what's going on in New Zealand right now with the apologies? What's the heck's going on there? Why are they apologizing and paying out in New Zealand? What does
I
Paul
don't
say
know
about
what's
that?
happening at the moment. Yeah, well, I've got to ask him about that, because I said to Paul, I said, with everything that's going on, it's repulsive. It really is disgusting. And I said, I had to say it in a way that I'm not an apostate. The way I went through it and just stated, it's nothing to do with the belief. It's the fact of what's happening. It's the conduct. So I'm going to have a good search around on bits and pieces, because if he sends me any more Jehovah's Witness stuff, I'm going to send him ExJW apostate stuff so that he can actually read it, listen to it. If I've got to listen to his propaganda,
if
he
you're
can
going to
then
listen to
watch
his
my
BS,
propaganda.
And if they're going to ring on our doorbells, then we can ring their doorbell.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Actually, I had to laugh. We
That's
were
what I
all
say at the
going out.
protests, right?
Yeah, it was like we were all going out one day and it was chaos. My granddaughter was there and I had all 3 girls with me and my partner was there. And,
Mhm.
and there was other friends of ours. And this person turns up and says, "Oh, can we talk to you?" And I said, "Oh, we know you're busy. We just want to leave you a card." And I said, "What's it to do with?" And, "Oh, it's a Bible-based organization." And I said, "Are you Jehovah's Witnesses?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "I'm just fellowship. Goodbye." I've just had
Well,
enough. I was stressed as it was.
yeah. Good on
But
you. Good on you.
she wasn't in a dress. She was in trousers. And
Really,
I was like,
really.
that's why I asked, "Are you Jehovah's Witnesses?" She went witnessing in trousers. They were dress pants, but she was wearing trousers. It wasn't a dress. And I thought, oh,
It didn't
yeah.
look. That's how they're getting people to open the doors. They're changing their
Yeah.
attire, and then people are opening the doors thinking, "Oh yeah, that's not JWs." But then
No,
they
no,
have slacks.
exactly.
People look out the window and
Yeah.
they, "Oh yeah, no, maybe it's someone canvassing in the neighborhood. We better answer the
Well,
door."
over here, they've got little cards which have jdob.org on it to give to
Oh,
people if they're busy. Yeah.
so it's all about the website, all about the website,
Yep,
nothing about the Bible.
just have a
Yeah,
look on the website. And
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, here we go."
They're just
But
parrots, eh?
no,
The people have become parrots, parrots of the
yep,
governing body. Yeah,
that's
they're
exactly
spellbound.
what they're
They're
doing.
under a magic spell. Now, I was going to ask you a question.
Yes,
I was going to ask you a question about this. Okay, you were talking about Paul. Okay, so you and Paul have this relationship where you can go back and forth, and he listens to you, and you listen to him, and he listens to you, and he's an elder, right? And he's trying to get you to go back.
yes, yeah. He's
Yeah.
trying to entice me back because we never talked. He never talked. And one time I'd
Mhm,
seen him, he said to me when I'd gone up to Mum's and he was there and I was helping Mum,
mhm,
he gave me a hug and he goes, "Lisa, I still love you. You're my sister, but I
mhm,
love Jehovah
mhm,
more." So that was
mhm,
it. He never really talked to me at all.
mhm,
But he'd invite me to the memorial every year, or he'd invite me to a special talk. But he's only ever
mhm,
invited me to something, and I've just declined it. But this time I thought, no, he needs to know how I feel. And he
mhm,
actually acknowledged it. So he's like, "Oh, she's opened up to me. I might be able to." And I'm thinking, well, at least I can stand by my guns and tell him how I feel
mhm,
and go, get those points across that, look, what do you think? This has happened before with
mhm,
family. Like he's gone
mhm,
through similar things when he
mhm,
was over in Norfolk Island, but they
mhm,
never reported anything. So he does know it's a problem, but I never
mhm.
knew about it until
Yeah.
2022 when I really realized what was happening. But it's like they still trying to just, yeah. But we do
All the
talk.
elders
We
know
are
it's
now
an issue.
talking.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I was when we were on holidays and we stopped downtown someplace, and there was a JW there with the cart, and he was
Yeah.
an elder. He had been an elder for 51 years, he said. And
Yeah.
I told him I'm an apostate, and he said that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so he says, you might want to come back. He says you want to come back, and we got talking about different things. And he says, yeah, you want
Yeah.
to come back because things have changed. Things have changed. Well, I said we follow kind of a lot of the changes. Now I've been away from
Yeah.
things for a while. Has there
Yeah.
been anybody online, anybody watching the show today? Has there been any big changes in the last 3 weeks? I haven't even looked at JW.org in the last little bit, but
Yeah. I
I'll
haven't
have to
looked at
open
it
it up
either.
sooner. Yeah, I don't hear of any big changes. The beards.
No.
I think what he was referring to was the beards, the slacks, the relaxed dress code. I
Yeah.
think that's what he wanted to
Yeah.
tell me about this. I
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
open my
Because
mouth.
Paul said to me, like, they've changed a lot of it, and they have changed it,
Yeah,
but they've only changed really the wording.
that's it. Well,
It's
for the
changed because
shunning,
it's like,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like that's like they've always called it disfellowshipping, and now they're removing them from the congregation. So that's why when I put in the text to him, I'd put it in italics, put removed. So he does know I have been keeping up on to date on what's happening and what's changing. But yeah, he's been an elder now for him. And
Mhm.
he's been an elder now for nearly 20 years. My
Okay,
brother.
here's what some Vaughn's got some good stuff here.
Yep.
CSA is considered more than a crime by inmates, and when elders ask children if they've enjoyed it, and they'll be able to answer that question themselves if they're sent to jail for CSA. And we met
Yeah.
a lady on this trip. This is one of our last days in that little town. We went to the farmers
Yep.
market, and she said she's an XJW, this lady, and she told us her story. She's going to come on hopefully, but
Oh,
her
that'll be
dad,
good.
elder, CSA,
Mm.
and that was her life. She was 13 when she ran away from home, and now
Wow.
she's our age, and she's like a counselor now. She's counseling and helping
That's
people.
good, eh? Yeah.
So,
Because like
Yvonne,
I'm oh,
go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know what she means with the counsellor, that there's no counsellors, and for those that do become counsellors that have gone through this, they know
Mhm.
what that person's going through. They've been through it, and it's hard to try
Mhm.
and find a counsellor that knows what you've been through in a
Mhm.
sense, because you do need to find someone that's been similar or
Mhm.
has gone into studies on that,
Mhm.
because it is so different than just a normal counselling session when you
Mhm.
go there. But what did Yvonne
Yeah.
say?
Well, she's talking about this sympathetic mode that happens in an instant. When we go into that fight or flight mode,
Yeah,
our brain changes in a moment, and we got to listen to
yeah.
our body. So we got to catch ourselves.
Mm.
That's important. I think I know I do it more than I probably realize when I get a little rattled. So it's definitely a thing to work on. And so what I'm realizing is, it's I think talking to a real therapist, psychologist. So that's kind of going to
Yeah.
be my endeavor over the next bit. I'm hoping to meet a real psychologist in Toronto. I won't share anything more
Yeah.
because I
No.
just got to look by the
Everything just
producer.
changes every time you say something.
Everything changes every time I say something.
So
So
stop
stop
saying
saying
because I'm
things.
running out of plans. Okay.
My wife has no more excuses. She can't. She has no more ideas to fix things.
Enough.
Drench says it's called expression with passion. Yeah, that's how I see it. Expression with passion. But I guess
Mm.
if you start sweating and I don't know. I there's different levels of this whole thing. It's not like you turn into the Hulk and you're that's what the Hulk does. You ever watch that show, The Hulk?
Oh,
The Incredible Hulk?
yes,
I used to
yes.
watch that when I was younger. It came out,
So
and
did I.
he'd get a little bit excited, and then he would just change.
I know.
His
But do
clothes
you,
wouldn't even
Yes.
fit.
do you know that he is actually trying to not be the Hulk?
Yeah, he didn't want to be the Hulk. He didn't
Exactly.
want to do that.
That's
Exactly.
right,
So that's
David
kind
Banner.
Yeah, exactly.
of okay. So yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like
No, well,
you've had a
yes.
similar, like this other elder, he was chasing me down. I didn't want to talk. I said, you look at that blood thing and thousands of people are dying. Like, you can't fix stuff like this. There's stuff that can't be fixed.
No,
They can fix
no.
dress codes and beards and stuff like that, but you can't
Yeah.
fix stupid. And the governing
No.
body fits that bill. I'm not afraid to say it. They're not smart
No,
people.
well, no, well,
They're
I
not
always
smart.
remember thinking the governing body were anointed, right? They were anointed by God. That's how I was brought up, with that happening. So when the
Yeah.
anointed died, that was it. Armageddon was happening. And then to hear the governing body member in the court say, "No, we're not inspired by God," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "What? You just totally told either a truth or you lied."
Well, now,
And
was
it was
that
like,
Jeffrey Winder, eh? Jeffrey Winder,
I
that on
think,
the 2023 annual meeting.
yeah, I
He
think
says,
so.
he says, he says, we're not inspired, right? That one, that guy.
Oh,
Or are we
yeah,
infallible?
And
yeah,
also, the governing body is
exactly.
neither
Are we-
inspired nor infallible. And so it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction. Well, knowing this, then, we are not embarrassed about adjustments that are made, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right previously.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy. That guy.
Yeah.
But oh no, it was
Okay.
who was the one that was at the court case? Was it Jeffrey Jackson?
Jackson.
Jackson. That's Jeffrey Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah,
Mhm.
And
that's the
and
guy.
he said- yeah, he's the one that said it would be presumptuous to
Yeah.
say that they were Jehovah's.
He said it would be
only-
presumptuous to say that we are Jehovah's only representatives.
Yeah.
There are others,
Yeah.
perhaps, that could blah 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 blah. You know,
Yeah.
and everyone realized that these guys are a farce.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. Oh,
magic man. They're musician. They're whoever you want. It's
yeah.
a circus. This is just a circus.
I
We
I
were just
went
part of the
through.
circus.
Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole the other day. Something to do with, as you do, with the witnesses and that. And I went right back to who was it? Charles Taz Russell or
Russell.
whoever it was. Was it Russell the first one, and then it was
Yeah. Russell's the first
yeah
guy and Rutherford's the second.
Rutherford. That's it. So
Yeah.
I went back and I was having a look at something on one of someone's channel. I can't remember whose it was, but Rutherford and Russell both didn't like excommunication. Like you weren't allowed to excommunicate someone, disfellowship them, shun them, put them out. And if someone in a congregation had a different opinion on something, and half the congregation or so many congregation agreed with that guy, they could actually leave and start up their own little congregation.
Mhm.
And that was what
Yep.
they were back then. And then when
Mhm.
I think it was Brother Noor, when he came in, he brought in the disfellowshipping.
Mhm.
And when I went back and looked
Mhm.
at that, I thought, man, I'm going to show that to my brother. There's one thing he
Mhm.
needs to see is like, these
Mhm.
are men and they didn't
Mhm.
believe in it because they didn't believe that was right. Jesus never
Mhm.
shunned people like that. And yet
There's a
Brother
lot
Noor
of
brought it in and shunned it.
good. I think Rose might have done
It
an
might have
article on
been
that,
Rose, yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's really
Yeah.
good at getting all the facts. Another guy I like is Blue Bonnet.
Blue envelope.
Blue Envelope. Blue
Oh,
Envelope.
okay.
Sorry about that. What was his name? Blue Envelope. Remember his name?
Phil.
Phil. Yeah. Sorry about that,
Blue
Phil.
bonnet.
Not Blue Bonnet. Blue Envelope.
Blue
He
Bonnet,
is really
Blue
good.
Envelope.
I always like his stuff.
I'll have to have a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
How
we
could?
love talking to you guys, but I'm going to have to go. But
Oh, we love you,
you guys,
Lisa. Thanks for being with
you
us.
have a wonderful day and take care, all of you.
We will. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay,
Take care.
bye.
Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye. She's gone. That's it. Okay, well, thanks, Lisa, for being on. Now, Drench said, how could someone come out and blatantly admit that they are not inspired and then tell the JWs to follow their direction, and they do? I know, they're being right honest with them, but yet JWs keep following them, those 9 men. So, like, I don't know, if I was in it 12 years ago and they said that, I would be kind of wondering what's going on. I would hope. I would have been wondering. So, anyways, Cheryl, you love the clapping. Okay, anybody else want to come on before we talk about nothing? I don't have anything more to talk about. I talked about nothing all night. Anybody else want to talk about nothing? We have
No.
nothing else to talk about. Do you have anything to talk about, my good wife?
No.
Nothing. Okay, we have a promo. What do we have? Promo.
Hi, K. Fred.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm probably going to start looking at JW.org to see what's happening. I don't recommend anybody to look at that stuff. It's not good to look at. Okay, I didn't really make any kind of a commercial or anything, but we could do
Drench says talk about Norway. What went on there?
what happened in Norway? Something? More?
I don't think.
I don't know. I'm going to look more at the news.
Ruby made a commercial you can play. She said too.
Oh, did she?
Ask her.
Promo?
Is it uploaded?
The promo?
Courtesy of the Loungers Club, I was gifted some merch, and I am more than happy to do a promotional video for the brand, especially since they are a fellow ExJW and small business owner. So let's get to know the company. The Loungers Club is a lifestyle clothing brand that promotes relaxation and comfort, weekend getaways, vacation, and just a stress-free lifestyle in general.
That's the wrong one, right?
Ask Ruby.
Okay, Ruby. No, I can play whatever. Okay. So it sounds like Ruby, not paid for. It's a commercial you made. Okay, that's not the right one. Okay. No worries. I'll play a different commercial.
Get back.
We will play ExJW Friends. Here's one. But anyways, we're going to get back at it here for a few days, and then tomorrow Sunday, so we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a couple of days here, and we'll probably see you here on Monday night for the Elders book. We're going to do another chapter. Then on Ruby has a couple shows coming up here. They're booked if you check her channel out. I don't know. I can't really see it here without checking her channel out. But she has a couple of shows coming up on politics. She's really getting into the politics, and that's great. And then Joe and Fran have their show coming up on Wednesday night again. It's the kind of the outside story. You can come on and talk. And that's a really good place to come on for the first time and meet the community. And it's talk therapy again. It's just good to talk about things. And if you haven't tried it, try it. Just click the link, and you don't have to show your face. You know, you can stop your camera just like that. You can just put anything in there. You don't have to show your face. StreamYard's really easy to work with for the first time. And think about coming on when Joe and Fran do their show. So the news, again, I think we won't do the news this coming Friday, but I might work on fitting the news in maybe somewhere else along the road before we go. And then we'll be in Toronto, and we'll see you on the protest. We're going to try to get little videos out and show you what's happening there as well. So until the next video, till Monday night, we'll see you guys all, and keep living with love. That's what's important, living with love. And you know, we stayed at all these motels, and when you get home into the sea can here, you have your dog and your cat, and this is where all your love is. This is your bubble of love. I didn't wake up until 11:30 this morning. Like, it was one of the best sleeps I've had on the whole holiday. So you can't beat home. And that's what a holiday does for you. You go on that holiday and you go do all these things, and you get back home and you realize, holy smokes, this is where I want to be, here at home. Because that's where you create your love. Your energy is all here. Okay, folks. Well, have a great day and keep living your life with love. Bye for now. In the shadows of isolation's veil, where hearts grew heavy and faces pale, we bore the burden of rejection's sting, lost in the echoes of our suffering. But now a light breaks through the night. ExJW Friends, a beacon shining bright, a sanctuary where healing finds its home, where shattered souls no longer roam. Share your story, break the chains, embrace the freedom that remains. You are resilient, you are strong. In your courage, you belong. No longer defined by the past's cruel art. Step into the present, a brand new start. On this hero's journey, you stride ahead, with newfound purpose, no longer misled. Take charge of your health, nurture your soul. In this community, you are made whole. ExJW Friends, a supportive space with meetups and healing in embrace. Together we rise above the pain. In unity our spirits shall reign. Come join us now, be part of this tapestry. Acceptance and love create a symphony. ExJW Friends is where you'll see you are valued, you are important, and you're free. Come join us at exjwfriends.com. We'll see you there.